In the sweltering heat of July 1867, in an isolated farming settlement near Sedalia, Missouri 8-year, old Timothy Caldwell became the focus of the most unsettling medical case ever recorded in the American heartland. Dr. Samuel Harding, the sole physician in the region, filled 3 leather-bound notebooks with observations of a child whose behavior defied every known principle of human nature in 19th-century medicine. To the untrained eye, Timothy appeared ordinary, even pleasant, but beneath his unassuming exterior lurked something medical science of the time could not comprehend. Over 6 months, 3 people met their deaths in inexplicable accidents near Timothy, along with dozens of farm animals found dead under baffling circumstances. 11 individuals, each having crossed paths with the boy, perished, his pale blue eyes never reflecting the warmth of his practiced smile. Local authorities sealed the records, locking them away for over a century. But the truth about Timothy Caldwell unveils a darkness that forces us to reconsider the very nature of evil in childhood. Before we delve deeper into the terror that gripped Sedalia County, if this tale intrigues you, don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss our explorations into America's most chilling historical enigmas. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We love hearing from our community of mystery lovers worldwide. The events that would make Timothy Caldwell infamous began not with bloodshed, but with grief. Missouri in 1867 was still reeling from the Civil War's devastation. Towns like Sedalia had sent their young men to die on distant battlefields, leaving behind fractured families and struggling communities. The Caldwell farm, nestled in a valley 15 miles south of town, had once thrived. James and Martha Caldwell had built their homestead with dreams of raising cattle and crops, but those dreams perished with James at the Battle of Wilson's Creek in 1861. Martha tried to keep the farm afloat alone, but consumption claimed her in the bitter winter of 1865. Their son Thomas, barely 21, inherited land he couldn't manage and debts he couldn't settle. When Thomas learned his brother William had died at Andersonville Prison, leaving behind a widow and an 8-year-old son, he saw both burden and opportunity. The boy, Timothy, needed a home, and Thomas needed help working the fields. Thomas Caldwell had been hardened by war and loss. His wife, Sarah, had grown sharp-tongued and resentful after years of childlessness. Neither was suited to raising a child, especially one who arrived in the spring of 1866, carrying nothing but a small cloth sack and eyes far too knowing for his age. Timothy was slight for his years, with pale skin that burned under the Missouri sun and straw-colored hair kept short to ward off lice. He rarely spoke of his past, offering only fragments when pressed. His father had been a soldier. His mother had coughed blood. He had lived with neighbors after her death. What struck adults most was his unnerving politeness. He never complained, never shirked chores, and always replied with "yes, sir," or "yes, ma'am." To all appearances, he was the perfect child. Dr. Samuel Harding first met Timothy in June 1866, when the boy accompanied his uncle to town. A graduate of Missouri Medical College, Harding had treated soldiers on both sides of the war and prided himself on reading people. But something about Timothy unsettled him, an indescribable wrongness beneath the boy's composed exterior. The child was perfectly respectful, Harding later wrote. Yet I found myself deeply uneasy in his presence. His gaze held a calculating intensity, as though he were studying me with the same clinical detachment I reserve for patients. The farming community was tight-knit, and whispers soon spread. Eleanor Patterson, whose land bordered the Caldwells, often saw Timothy laboring in the fields with unnatural focus. "It's like watching a little machine," she told her husband. "He works without pause, never playing, never tiring. It isn't natural." Her chickens grew agitated whenever Timothy neared the property line, clustering together in alarm. Her husband dismissed it as coincidence, but Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling that the animals sensed something humans couldn't. First death came in August 1866. 5-year-old Mary Fletcher, the blacksmith's daughter, was found drowned in Willow Creek, a shallow stream where children often played. Timothy discovered her body, arriving at the Fletcher home with damp clothes and a pale face. "Mrs. Fletcher," he said, voice steady despite his apparent distress, "I found Mary by the creek. She's not breathing." The search party found Mary face down in water barely 18 inches deep. Dr. Harding ruled it an accidental drowning, but Timothy's account troubled him. The boy described the scene with chilling precision. The position of her limbs, the way her dress caught on a submerged branch, even the hue of the water around her face. Such detail seems unusual for a frightened child, Harding noted. Thomas confirmed Timothy had been searching for a lost calf, which was later found unharmed a mile from the drowning site. The Fletchers, grief-stricken, thanked Timothy for alerting them. At the funeral, he sat quietly, head bowed. But Eleanor Patterson noticed something unsettling. While others wept, Timothy's eyes remained dry and watchful. 3 weeks later, Henrik Larson, an elderly beekeeper, was found dead at the base of Devil's Bluff. Once again, Timothy was involved. He'd spotted the man's hat on a thorn bush while walking home. Dr. Harding noted broken bones consistent with a fatal fall, but something was amiss. Dead bees surrounded the body, yet the hives showed no signs of disturbance. Henrik knew those bluffs better than anyone, a neighbor said. He never so much as stumbled. Timothy suggested bees might have caused the fall, but Harding found the theory hollow. The insects were clustered unnaturally around the corpse, as if placed there deliberately. The third death shattered any illusion of coincidence. 6-year-old Jacob Mills vanished while playing in the woods. After days of searching, Timothy led rescuers to an abandoned well hidden beneath brush and logs. Jacob was pulled out alive but died hours later. Harding examined the well and found the debris arranged too precisely. Someone had concealed it intentionally. By now, Harding was certain Timothy Caldwell was no ordinary child. Over the following months, Harding documented Timothy's disturbing behavior, his fascination with anatomy, his eerie calm in the face of suffering, and the mounting deaths around him. When Harding finally confronted him, Timothy didn't deny it. "You won't tell anyone," the boy said, smiling. "No one would believe you, and you're curious what I'll do next." Timothy was right. The final confrontation came when Timothy planned to kill his aunt and uncle. Harding, armed with evidence and a pistol, intervened just in time. Sheriff Crawford arrived, witnessing Timothy's attack. "You can't prove anything," Timothy sneered as they restrained him. "No one believes a child could do this." But attempted murder was enough. Timothy was sent to an asylum where he manipulated staff, staged accidents, and eventually vanished without a trace. Dr. Harding spent his life tracking similar cases, convinced Timothy had survived, matured into something far more dangerous. If he still lives, Harding wrote before his death, "Then somewhere walks a man who understands human weakness better than any scholar, who sees people only as subjects for his experiments." The Caldwell farm was abandoned. The cave where Timothy conducted his gruesome studies was sealed, but the legend of the boy with dead eyes endures, a reminder that evil can wear the face of innocence. What do you think became of Timothy Caldwell? Could he still be out there, watching, waiting? Share your theories below, and if you crave more tales of historical horror, subscribe and join us for the next descent into darkness.